Welcome to the newest incarnation of LoopzineTV. The original interactive multimedia webzine was started in 1998 and posted on the internet in Macromedia Flash. You'll find 200 articles, archived on YouTube as videos. But today, the content has changed from darkwave music to academic papers about electronic music. Several different AI tools from Gemini and Grok are used in the creation of this video.
All right, today we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea from a paper by Jonathan Impett, and it's one that kind of flips a basic assumption about art right on its head. We're going to explore electronic music not as something an artist just makes, but as a living system, almost like a partner in a creative dance. So let's start with this question, just to frame our thinking. For just a minute, forget about writing a song or composing a perfect symphony. What if making music wasn't about having total control, about crafting this flawless, finished object? What if instead, it was all about having a real-time conversation with a creative partner? Okay, this slide, this is where it all clicks. The old-school way of thinking treats music like a statue, a fixed, final thing that an artist carves and then puts on display. But this new way, it sees music as a dance, a living process, a constantly unfolding event. And the huge difference, of course, is that in a dance, you can't plan every single step. You have to react, you have to respond to your partner right there in the moment. And that idea brings us right to our first core concept. This idea of seeing music not as a score you play, but as a living system. It's like a simulated environment that actually breathes and evolves all on its own. So what does that actually mean? Well, instead of composing every single note, the artist becomes more like a gardener. Right? They don't carve the flower, they design the garden, they set up the soil, the sunlight, the conditions, and then they get to interact with whatever grows. In electronic music, this garden is a simulation, a digital world with its own set of rules and behaviors that just springs to life when the performance starts. So here's how that actually plays out. The musician isn't just playing notes on a keyboard. No, they're interacting with the rules of that simulation. They might tweak a parameter or throw in a new sound, and the system just responds based on its own internal logic. All of a sudden, the music becomes this living thing, reacting in real time, and it pulls the performer into this constant, really exciting cycle of action and reaction, of guessing and responding. So if the music is a living system, that leads us straight to the next big idea. The computer, it's no longer just a tool, like a hammer or a paintbrush. It actually becomes an active partner in the creative process. And the key concept here is the interface. But don't think of it like a keyboard or a screen. Think of it more like a negotiation table. It's the meeting point where the human and the machine actually share control. That word agency, the power to make creative choices, it's not just held by the performer anymore. It's distributed. It's shared between the person and the software's own programmed behaviors. And here's a quick look at how that partnership really works. The performer makes a sound, right? But the system doesn't just play it back. It listens to it, it processes it based on its own rules, and then it throws something completely new back at the performer. So the human reacts to the machine reacts to the human, and they literally shape each other's next move. They are co-evolving together, live on stage. It's pretty wild. Now, when you have a complex system like this, where control is shared and everything's constantly evolving, something incredible happens. You get the unexpected. And that brings us to our third big concept. I absolutely love this quote. It just perfectly captures the mindset you need for this kind of work. In a traditional performance, a surprise is a mistake, right? It's an error you try to avoid. But here, a surprise is the whole point. It's an opportunity. It's the raw material for genuine improvisation. And this is what the paper calls the shadowmaker. The shadow is all the stuff the system produces that the performer didn't plan on. The digital artifacts, the clicks, the weird textures that come out of the code, the feedback glitches, all the strange and unpredictable sounds that just bubble up from the system's complexity. And in this kind of art, these aren't mistakes to be fixed. They are the most vital, the most exciting parts of the whole performance. So the real art becomes learning how to dance with the shadow. The performer is listening for these unplanned moments, and instead of fighting them, they welcome them in, they incorporate them, they turn what anyone else would see as an accident into a core feature of the music. The unpredictability isn't a bug, it's a feature. So, let's pull this all together. We have music as a living simulation, the computer as an active partner, and this deep, fundamental embrace of the unexpected. When you mix all that up, it leads to a really profound conclusion about what the art even is anymore. And this right here,
This is the philosophical heart of the whole thing. The music isn't a picture of an emotion or a story. It has no external meaning. It is simply and profoundly the sound of this complex human-machine system living and breathing and just existing in the moment. It is being itself.
And what that means is that the work of art isn't just the sound you hear. The real work is the entire network of relationships between the performer, the code they're using, the audience that's listening, and even the physical space they're all in. The art is the whole living ecosystem that just emerges from all these connections. So what's the takeaway for any creators out there? Well, it kind of suggests a whole new set of rules. First, compose systems, not just sounds. Design the potential for interaction. Second, embrace the shadow. Listen for those happy accidents and treat them like a gift. And third, join the ecosystem. Let go of the idea of being the sole genius in control and become a participant in a bigger, shared creative process. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This whole idea of a human-machine partnership, of dancing with these complex and unpredictable systems, it goes way beyond music, doesn't it? It touches on everything from AI to our social networks. So the big question is, if art can be a living partner, what other parts of our lives are becoming a dance where we're all just learning the steps?